gentlemen, cordially invite all of you to the International Online Student Wellness Program on Mindfulness for Stress Reduction and Academic Performance. Our college chairman, Srimati Mamta D. Bhatt, our college secretary, Sri C.M. Tolia, our joint secretary, Sri Nimesh Tolia, and our principal, Dr. R. Geeta, convey their best wishes for the smooth conduct of this program. The Research Department of Commerce had organized a faculty development program on present challenges and opportunities in the Indian business environment on 17th September, on 17th May 2020. And we had organized a national online quiz program on income tax. And this is the third program which we are going to conduct. And we wanted to concentrate on student welfare and we want to improve their emotional well-being. Hence, we have organized this International Online Student Wellness Program on mindfulness for stress reduction and academic performance. Alumni of any institution are the brand ambassadors. Our alumni have also excelled in various fields and are willing to share their expertise with our students. During this COVID period, we have organized many webinars. Mrs. Vatsala, who studied BA English Literature, had given a talk on travel and tourism opportunities in the post-COVID period. Mrs. Chitra Anantaraman, who did BA Economics, had given a talk on change of career perspectives positively. And Mrs. Tarangani will be giving practical training on machine learning using R. And similarly, I'm proud of my alumni, Uma Maheshwari, who is a resource person for this webinar, and she is popularly known as Uma Panch. She had graduated with a BCom degree from SDNB Vaishnav College. She was a cultural secretary and she had won many prizes, both interclass and intercollegiate levels. During those days, the Karagam dance was very famous and she had choreographed and the entire team had won various laurels for our college. Later, she moved to Australia and she did a master's from South Cross University and she is now endeavoring to do a PhD in mindfulness. She is a multifaceted personality as she is a motivational speaker, a peak performance coach, corporate trainer, and an author of many articles. She is a visiting faculty of various Australian universities and is a social entrepreneur. She has won many awards. To name a few, Belly Boli Memorial Prize, Highest Academic Achiever Award, Dux Award, winner of the Entrepreneur Award for a positive contribution to the society. She has been interviewed by Sun TV for Vanakkam Tamila and she has featured in Asian Entrepreneur Magazine and Indian Achievers Magazine. She is the founder of Beyond Bliss, Personal and Corporate Wellness and Mind Mastering Academy. She had started the mindfulness movement and she had organized many workshops and seminars to create awareness for the benefits of mindfulness. She teaches mindfulness to leaders and executive team members for stress reduction, peak performance, and emotional well-being. Now I invite the most successful and empowered women of this generation, Mrs. Uma Panch, to instill positive vibrations to the young students who are anxious and stressed in this COVID period. I hope your mindfulness program will reduce the stress, improve their academic performance, and improve their emotional well-being. I request all the participants to give their names and address in the chat box. Now I request the resource person to conduct the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Savithri, ma'am. I'm really humbled. I'm really privileged to be doing this webinar today. First of all, I would like to start by expressing my gratitude to SDNB Vaishnav College Management Principal and the Research Department of Commerce. Such a privilege, such an honor. And also, I would like to extend a very warm welcome for all of you here from all around the world coming here to learn about mindfulness in order to help you reduce your stress and achieve peak performance. Okay, without much ado, I just want to start with this today's proceedings. And before that, all of you tell me, where are you from? I've seen a lot of chat messages here. It's absolutely stunning to see this amazing engagement, and I'm also happy to be able to present this today. All right. To do so, I'm going to first start by sharing my presentation with you. Let's hope it comes up on time. Give me a moment while I open up my presentation. Oh, it's right. So meanwhile, as I start opening up this presentation, let me know, do you know anything about mindfulness? Have you heard about mindfulness before? And if you've heard about mindfulness, what is mindfulness and what is mindlessness? And also, what is it that you want to learn from today's webinar? What would be a great, amazing takeaway for you from today's webinar? Keep putting that on the chat, and we are going to come back and answer your questions. And again, hang on a moment while I open up. Sometimes technology can give us a bit of a kick. So, a moment. Yes, so keep typing and let me know, what are your present challenges? What's going on for you? I know COVID is not very easy. It is one of the most unprecedented situations that we're ever focusing in. As students, what's going on for you? What are your present challenges? And how are you coping with these challenges at the moment? Keep typing it, and we are having a look at your messages here. Okay. I'm trying to open up the file. And keep typing, okay? We're going to come back and read all your messages. Screen. There we go. I've got my presentation ready for you now. It's all good. Just let me know whether you can see the presentation well. Do you see the full screen? Let me know. Do you all see the presentation well? Is it clear? Is it nice and clear for everyone? Wonderful. I am seeing all your messages here. What do we have here for your messages? Okay. All right. So mindfulness for student wellness. I'm just checking if everyone can see my screen. Savithri ma'am, do send me a text message. Just I want to make sure that everybody can see the screen. So send me a text message and I can check it and make sure all is doing well. Okay. Wonderful. So when we talk about mindfulness, as I mentioned, mindfulness is a very big topic, okay? Let me start the screen. One second. So we have the slide share view. Still getting my... Okay, I think we should just go along with this and see how we go from there. Right, so with mindfulness, before I explain my journey with mindfulness, I just want to ask you, are you mindful or are you mindful? Which means that mindful is a state where you are very particular, you're very conscious, you're very aware of what is happening to you in your present moment. Mindful is where your mind is full of information overload, social media, stress, anxiety, worry. Everything is going on for you at the same time. So tell me, put it on the chat box. Are you mindful or are you mindful? The question that I asked you just now. Put it on the chat box and let me know, where are you in your journey when you try to focus on work, when you try to focus on anything that you do you have challenges in focusing? Do you have challenges with concentration, right? So what I'm going to cover for you today is the problem, that is educational stress, burnt out syndrome, And also the solution, which is mindfulness, the benefits of mindfulness, mindful moment, what we do in Mind Mastery Academy and IBeyond Bliss to empower students to reduce stress and achieve peak performance. And also there are other great inspirational messages that I want to share with you. So this is what I asked you first. Are you mindful or mindful? Whether your mind is full of studies or is full of pets, TV, video game, music, food, whatever, a little bit of studies, phone and social media. How do you find yourself? What do you do when you sit to study? Where is your attention and focus? Are you able to focus on what matters? That is your education. When you're in college, when you're studying, when professor is taking a subject, where is your attention? Do you keep wandering, mind wandering? Or are you able to focus in the present moment and give your full attention? Let me know. Keep putting it on the chat box so I know how things are for you. All right, right. The next thing is, give me a moment. Because the moment I move from my screen and I try to see your screen, I miss you guys. So give me a moment. Just one moment. Got to share the screen again. So tell me, what do you do when you have to study? Is your focus on studies? Is your focus on what matters? Or do you constantly mind wander between what might happen in the future, what might happen in the past? I hope things are looking good for you now. I think I've sorted out the screen thing. So let's talk about the problem. Now, research shows that academic pressure is one of the main causes of stress for young people, right? And what this happens is this stress is a significant catalyst and precursor for anxiety. And according to World Health Organization, WHO, stress has been classified as one of the biggest epidemic of the 21st century, right? Students with high stress are likely to have poor academic performance. Obvious, right? So if you're highly stressed, you would not be able to achieve your academic performance. So then what do we do? What is the solution? So let's look into options like, again, guys, my screen is, I've lost my presentation. Give me a moment. There we go. Okay, so as I mentioned, this causes burnt out syndrome. How does that happen? What is educational stress? So recent study shows that academic stress levels are dramatically impacting both the students, the parents, and the educators. And the reason is that what happens is when students are stressed, right, you have emotional stress, you have psychological stress, and then it creates stress in your body. So you have physical stress as well, and there are many physical symptoms happening. You might have headaches, you might have migraine, and you feel exhausted. And see what happens with the stress is you start releasing endorphins and adrenaline and cortisol and other stress hormones. So these sort of stress hormones constantly start building in your body. So what happens when stress hormones build? Now you tell me, when you feel stressed, what do you do? What typically happens when you have the stress hormones? Do you feel exhaustion? Do you feel any motivation at all to study? So if you're thinking, why am I not having attention? Why am I not able to focus? Why don't I have concentration? Or why can't I remember what I'm studying? This is what is happening to you because you're constantly stuck in the viral, system of your stresses that it is impacting your day-to-day performance in your academic performances. Right. So a moment again. While cool. All is going well. Just checking if my screen is well. Just to make sure that we're all good. And I'm sorry I can't be reading your comments at the same time, but I'm going to come back to your comments and I'll definitely answer it. Okay? All right. So the only reason that I would be constantly flipping my screen is to make sure that I am able to give the right, materials to you, just to make sure the screen is working fine. Right. So as I mentioned, when you feel stressed, you are not going to be able to perform, obviously. And then what happens is this releases, as I mentioned, mentioned all these adrenaline, the endorphin, stress hormones, and you are going to feel completely burnt out. So what is the solution? My screen is just running. Hang on, guys. My screen is just running. So what I'm going to give you, so what is the solution? So you might say, okay, Uma, we understand. These are the stresses. We understand what's going on for us. So what could be the potential solution? So the solution to this is something called mindfulness. So mindfulness is leading one's completely in the present moment. That is, what we've done is understanding and recognizing this issue that students have got. I have practiced mindfulness in my personal life and I've found absolutely stunning results. Okay. And to be able to do that, I wondered, okay, if I can do this, if I can achieve this great, achievements through mindfulness, what can it do for other students as well? So now, before we discuss what mindfulness is, let's see what mindlessness is. Okay. Mindlessness is where you're rushing through activities without being attentive to them, breaking or spilling things just because you're careless. How many of you do this? Just put it on the chat box. Do you feel this way? Do you break things? Do you feel careless? If you're in the class, you don't feel enough of concentration, and you finish the class, you're wondering, oh my God, what did my lecturer tell me? What did my professor tell me? How come I don't remember? I was in the class all this time. But how come I don't remember this? Let me know. Have you had those experiences? Have you felt that? Do you do that in your class? What about your parents? What about your friends? At work, somebody tells you something and you absolutely forget it because you're absolutely working on a mindless state, failing to notice subtle feelings in your body, and also finding ourselves constantly preoccupied with the future or the past. Also, things like constantly snacking without even being aware of what we are snacking. So, what is mindfulness? Now, mindfulness is the awareness that arises from paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. Now, let me explain further on this. Mindfulness is completely evidence-based, okay? Mindfulness is a science and practice-based framework backed up by researchers and references. Also, if you practiced mindfulness, you are able to improve 16% in your mental health and academic performance. So now, who wants to know more about mindfulness? Now that I've told you all the benefits of mindfulness, do you feel that it is time? Yes, I need to know more about mindfulness. I think my screen has not shared my presentation again. Give me a moment, I will share it again. But don't worry, I'm going to, whether you are able to see the presentation or not, I'm going to continue to be able to deliver the content because, yeah, I think you should be able to see this presentation now. Yeah. Just put it on the chat box if you can see my presentation, okay? All right. Yeah, looks all good to me. 1 second. Yes. So, as I mentioned, it is a science and evidence-based, right? So, what are the benefits of mindfulness? So, if you learn mindfulness, you can enhance your mental fitness and clarity, agile and adaptive mindset, improved working memory, enhanced productivity and creativity, enhanced emotional intelligence, improved social emotional skills. Imagine the list of benefits: metacognitive awareness, increased resilience and communication, emotional regulation, mastery, better decision-making skills, and increased student engagement. Want to know more? Now, let me tell you this. What happens is when you practice mindfulness, it enhances the parts of the brain that is responsible for executive function. So with executive function, you are able to achieve all these benefits through mindfulness. Yeah? Right. So now I would like to share with you what are the key principles of mindfulness. With mindfulness, the main key principles that I want you to know is being present and now, automaticity, judgments, acceptance, compassion, goals, ego, and integration. Now, these are all different key principles of mindfulness. However, for today, I'm going to pick 3 key principles because honestly, it's not possible to cover everything within the scope of today's session, right? But I'm going to give you the key principles of mindfulness. Now, what is happening? Now, why are we talking about all these things? Why are we talking about mindfulness? You know what? I want to first explain about your thoughts because everything, the problem starts with your thoughts, okay? On an average day, we have over 50,000 to 60,000 thoughts, okay, per day, of which 50% of your thoughts are negative thoughts. And at any given point of time, only 47% of your attention is in the present moment. So where is your 53%? You are mind wandering. All of us do that, okay? Unless you get into the practice of mindfulness. So 53% is literally spent on mind wandering. Okay, thoughts can be, now let me get this right. There's nothing wrong about thoughts. Okay, thoughts are you have positive effects of results with thoughts. Thoughts can be handy, it is creative, you get new ideas, and it also helps you to make plans, right? Agree? Keep putting it on the chat box, right? Because at the moment I'm more focusing on presenting this, but I want you to engage in the chat box. I'm definitely going to come back and answer your questions. And by the way, let me know, are you enjoying today's webinar? Put it on the chat box. Is it being informative? Are you starting to get the idea around what mindfulness is? Keep putting it on the chat box, okay? Let's make this fun and have fun as you learn. This need not be very serious. I want you to grasp the information. And you can learn best only when your mind is in a curious state and a happy frame of mind and in a fun mode, okay? So that is what I want you to achieve when you want to do this webinar today. Now, what is the downside of thoughts? Now, the downside are lack of focus, lack of attention, and concentration. Why? Why do you think we have lack of attention? If you're having 50,000 thoughts a day and 50% are negative thoughts, and only 47% of your attention is here at any given point in time, what will happen to the information that you're seeking? What would happen when you're in a class? How are you going to grasp the information? It's not possible, right? Tell me, put it on the chat box. Do you understand where the problem is? Because, see, I believe it's really very important to know what the problem is. See, if you want to find a solution for anything in your life, first you need to understand where the problem is coming from, right? Now you know where the problem is stemming. Now that you know where the problem is coming from, you are in a better, empowered state to deal with these challenges, okay? Now, I'm going to give you a short exercise. Try to stop your thought for 30 seconds. Just close your eyes. All I want you to do now is close your eyes and stop your thought for 30 seconds. Let's do it now. Okay, come back. Now tell me what happened. I asked you to stop your thoughts for 30 seconds. And were you able to stop your thoughts? Let me know that. Put it on the chat box. Yes, Uma, I could stop my thoughts. Or no, I just couldn't stop my thoughts. The more I was trying to stop my thoughts, there were more thoughts coming up. Isn't it? Who agrees with me? Would you agree that the more you tried to stop your thought, you were having more thoughts rebounding, right? That is the power of thoughts, all right? So now you're sitting in class, maybe in Savithri ma'am's class. I remember myself doing this. Savithri ma'am would be taking a class and I'm like sitting and all of a sudden I would have zoned out. And then I come back, oh my goodness, class is almost getting over. Where was I all this time? Either thinking about something that happened in the past, thinking about the competitions that's coming in the future. So I have known myself doing this until I knew about mindfulness. Right? So thoughts are very demanding. So if you're telling me, Uma, I can't have attention, I'm not able to pay attention. How can you pay attention? Because your attention is completely taken away by your thoughts. Do you see how thoughts are powerful? Right? So thoughts can be problematic. So what happens? You have worries, you have ruminations, you have negative stories about the self. Negative stories of what could happen, why would happen, what would I do if this happened, right? Right? So this constant worry. Now, so what can we do? Just not about the worry. What is happening really for you is that in any given point, the present moment attention is only this much. And your past is this much and your future is this much. The length is more when it's with your past and the future. But your present moment focus is very little. So what happens because of that? Hang on, my slide is a bit slow, but I will keep explaining to you. So how do you deal with your thoughts? Because your thought is stuck between the past and the present. What you need to do here is bring back your thought to the present moment. And how do you do that? by taking a deep breath in. Okay? Whenever you feel that, okay, I feel like I'm distracted, what do I do? Take a deep breath in. Even now, as you're listening to me, as I mentioned earlier, only 47% of your attention is here. So what you need to do is at specific intervals, take a deep breath in, because your breath can be your anchor to bring you back to the present moment. Yeah. So as you can see here, the now is very little. Sorry about the formatting. It's changed after I've downloaded. But how you want it to be is more little past, little future, and more of the now moment. Okay. Now, the second thing is, now I've told you what to do. When you feel distracted, when you feel that you're caught in the past and the present, just let it go. Let it go and observe that, okay, I have too much of thoughts coming. I just want to let it go now. And I want to come back to the present moment. And I will do that by taking a deep breath in and exhaling. Okay, that's point number one. Now, let's talk about the second key principle of mindfulness, which is automaticity. I want to be mindful of the time as well. Well, we are doing good with the timing. And let me know all, please, are you enjoying today's session? Put it on the webinar. What are you enjoying about it? What is your key takeaway? What are you going to take away from what I'm discussing now? Start typing in what will be your key takeaway, okay? From all the principles of mindfulness, these are really, really key. As much as everything is important, these are really key. Okay, let's talk about automaticity. I'm sure all of you understand, how our automatic behaviors are. I'm sure you know that you go into a room, you come out, either you automatically switch off your light or you automatically don't switch off your light, right? There are many things that we automatically do. Eating, maybe playing a piano or playing a guitar, or maybe your veena, tabla, whatever you play, dancing, making gestures, everything is automatic, right? Driving, how many times have you driven to your workplace or your college or a friend's place and thought, how did I even get here? Oh my goodness, I've already come to my friend's place. I don't even remember passing this place. Sometimes you walk across the same road and then, was there this tree before? I don't remember this tree before. And imagine, can a tree just grow overnight? The tree has just been there. You have just not stopped to notice. We are breathing all day long. When was the last time you noticed yourself breathing? Can you see how powerful our automatic behaviors can be? So these are automatic cycles. So examples are driving, eating, as I mentioned. So all of you have no problem doing this, right? There is an advantage. I agree. Automatic behaviors, yes, there are some advantages. What are the advantages? It's shortcuts, right? You can do things quickly. No necessary to examine all the options. You can make your choices easily. And you can do multitasking. Now, listen to me about multitasking, okay? Because with multitasking, you need little attention. You can be speaking on the phone. You could be still, putting something on your calculator. You could be still speaking to your mom. You could be doing multiple things at the same time, right? Do you think that's possible? Do you really think your brain can do multiple things? Actually, no. In fact, me, when I started my career, I used to be such a proud person and saying that I'm a great multitasker. I can do multiple things at a time. I used to be very proud doing that. But when I learned mindfulness, something shocked me. I understood that you cannot do multitasking because your brain can only process one thing at a time. So when you try to do multitasking, doing too many things at a time, you are stressing your mind. Do you see that? Lecturer is taking a subject. You are here trying to listen to her, but at the same time, you're trying to tap something on your phone. And you're trying to look for some information. Now, there's only half information you get from your professor. There's only half information you get from this text message. Probably you're trying to text someone, send an email. That's where mistakes happen. Where do you think mistakes happen? Careless mistakes, where do you think? Because you are not completely present doing something. You're on an autopilot mode. So when you are in an autopilot mode, you don't know what's going on. Your mind does not have enough to process. Think about a computer software. Think about your brain as a computer application, like a computer, okay? And you open 10 applications at a time. Don't you see that your computer gets slowed down? When you shift from one application, email, maybe to chat, to probably YouTube, to Facebook, there is a bit of a lag time, right? That's what happens to your brain. When you try to shift between too many things, trying to split your attention between a few things, you end up not producing great work. At exams, you're doing your exams, but you don't get great results. And you tell me, but Uma, I studied well. I know many students who come to me for success coaching. They would say, no, but I really studied well. But where was your mind when you were studying? You only half processing it because half listening to music, half listening to probably a television serial. Agree. Who agrees with me? Tell me. If you agree with me, put that on the chat box. Uma, yes, I agree with you. So I am going to pause for a moment just to check that we are going good with the screen. Okay, cool. Looks like all is well. Initially, we had some hiccups with the screen, but all is well. It's technology, and all of us are always learning. And I truly believe, that I'm a learning machine. We keep learning. The second time you do it, the third time, the fourth time you do it around, you become the best, right? The beginner was always just a beginner until he became an expert. The expert was always a beginner. Now let's keep moving on. Tell me, are you enjoying? Put it on the chat box. What are you enjoying? What are your key learnings from today? I'm really curious to know. I'm sure a lot of chats are coming in and I'll come back and answer them. Okay, so now you have to think about this. What do you want to do? What is that key decision you can take today? Are you going to be doing multiple tasks at one time? Or are you going to focus on one thing? This is all about focus. Now, if you're telling me, Uma, I'm not able to focus, how can you focus? Because you're doing two things at one time. Do you get it? Who gets it? If you get it, put it on the chat box. Hey, yes, Uma, I get it. So you cannot focus, right? So then your next question is, Uma, so what is the alternative? So many things are happening at one time. Somebody is calling me, somebody's talking to me, I'm getting a phone call, I'm getting a YouTube, something is popping there, I get notifications. What do I do? Effective attention switching. Okay, this is the solution for your second problem, that is your lack of focus, which is because of automaticity. Now, so effective attention switching. So what is effective attention switching? Effective attention switching is where you're doing a task and you know there's a distraction coming through. Ideally, you have to close down all your distractions. Now, you set your time. If you're studying, you set your time for probably 50 minutes and give yourself a 10-minute break. Okay. Now, when you do that, you are able to focus more on what matters most. And then you can go back in that 10-minute gap. That's where you use that 10 minutes for all your distractions, whatever you want to do. So hold on to those distractions as rewards for focusing for probably 50 minutes into something. All right. Now, all the strategies I'm teaching you now is going to considerably reduce your stress. I know currently the situation is really bad. Regardless, we have problems with focus and attention and memory and concentration. Over and above that, we have COVID problem. So I'm going to come to a next point. How are you going to cope with this? Okay. Before that, have you got this right? Do you understand that what you need to be doing is not multitasking, but effective attention switching? Who gets it? If you get it, put a thumbs up there, put a like there, whatever you can put on the post. But I truly believe that this is valuable to you. This is information is absolutely gold. So I've always been a high achiever, but I was achieving everything with a really considerable amount of stress. And only when I started to learn about mindfulness and apply mindfulness in my life, I was able to double up my performance, achieve peak performance without the stress. Do you get it? So my request to you is follow principle number 2, which is going to be effective attention switching. Right. So let's move on. With automaticity, what happens is we first make our habits and then our habits make us. How many of you agree to that? Unconsciously, you might start, okay, when I go to bed, maybe I'll watch Facebook for some time. It becomes a practice. And 1 month down the line, you're thinking, I never did this before. I've started to do this now. How can I switch my habit? Okay. So these kind of habits are very hard to change because it happens from your subconscious mind. Okay. Therefore, you are not in the moment. And that is what is causing everything. So you need to have, through mindfulness, come back to your present moment, have that awareness. Okay. So mindful awareness and attention. So focus attentively what you're doing in that moment and have the rewards later on. All your distractions can be rewards for you. All right. This is the key. Now I'm going to talk about acceptance. This is another key principle of mindfulness. So in our day-to-day life, okay, what I'm going to teach you here is about resistance, acceptance, and misconceptions. In your day-to-day life, in your daily life, we have pleasant things happening and unpleasant things happening, right? Pleasant things could be an email from a friend, a compliment, a nice conversation. Any of this can be a pleasant moment. Unpleasant moment are things like traffic jam, arguments, boring tasks. How many of you agree? Boring tasks. Today, I just finished a mindfulness program that I usually run an 8-week or 4 or 8 week mindfulness program. And in these programs, today I covered acceptance for some students, and they agreed with me that they hate boring tasks. Lot to do with doing repetitive tasks. So what do? Can you avoid this? These are part of our life, right? Just like two sides of a coin. So when pleasant things happen, like a mail from a friend, maybe a great mark that you've got in your college, and probably a nice conversation, etc., you feel really nice, isn't it? You embrace it. You want to hold on to those pleasant moments. At the same time, when unpleasant things happen, something goes wrong, something you planned didn't work out, you didn't get good grades, okay? Probably you disappointed yourself, you disappointed people around you. And then what happens now is that you start feeling this unpleasantness, okay? And what do? When you have these unpleasant moments, you start to resist it. You do not want to experience unpleasant moments. Who agrees with me? Put it on the chat box. Do you feel doing this? Accepting and embracing good things and resisting things that are not so good enough. Obvious, right? That's what all of us do. And what happens because of this? You create a conflict. For example, take COVID. It's absolutely unpleasant. Nobody likes it. But what do? We are resisting. Like we say, I don't want this. I don't want this. I don't want this. So if I have pain, I think I don't want to have pain. See, as much as this mindfulness that I'm teaching right now is all about student wellness, and the examples I'm giving is more about student, I teach mindfulness for behavioral therapists. I teach mindfulness for teachers. I teach mindfulness for executives and leaders. And the principles are same, the situations are different, right? So mindfulness is universally applicable. So if someone here is watching, because we know people are watching all around the world. So anybody from any other profession, put it on the chat box, okay? I'm happy to come and reply to you. So this is universally, for all people, it is universally applicable. So if you're thinking, oh, but I'm not a student, is this not applicable to me? No, it is universally applicable, okay? Right. So when you have fear, now most people are under fear, right? So much of fear, panic, gripped by COVID panic. So what do they feel? I don't want to have fear. Sadness, I want to feel joy. So you constantly have this conflict. Now you will ask me, so Uma, what do? Are you asking me not to fear? Are you asking me not to feel this way? Are you asking me to, feel sad? No. I'm going to come to you in a moment and explain that better. Okay. Now, let me tell you why you should not control or avoid those feelings. Okay. When you control, suppose you're feeling sad, you're feeling anxious, you're worried about something, maybe it can be related to work, related to studies, related to something happening with your relationships, maybe something in college, whatever is going on for you. When you try to control, suppose you're feeling sad or worried or anxious, when you try to control that, what happens is the duration and the intensity is high. That feeling will stay for more time, and the density of the feeling is also high. Okay. In the other way around to deal with this is to allow and accept. So if you're feeling anxiety, now you have exams, so many students have been, as I'm a lecturer, I know I teach 800 students. I'm at the moment teaching online, right? And I know how many of these international students, I know how many of them are absolutely stressed out, totally stressed out, because they are afraid about their future. There's no idea, what am I going to do? When is this going to stop? Now, this is one thing that you need to consider, okay? Whenever you have a problem, this is how you need to look into. Is this problem within my control? First question that you need to ask yourself. If that problem is within your control, there is some solution that you can look into it. But if the problem is not within your control, people who do economics will know about this. Business knows about this. The pestle analysis, right? Political, economical, social, environmental, legal. You know these broad macro environment. Anything that's happening in your macro environment is not within your control. So what do? Are you going to constantly keep fearing and worried and worried and worried and worried and get that to impact you through stress and anxiety? No. Just allow yourself to feel the feeling of stress or the worry. Experience that. Just like when you feel joy, you're experiencing that joy, right? You don't push it away. Similarly, when you feel sadness, when you feel frustration, just accept the feeling. I'm not saying accept COVID. I'm not saying accept someone who's done wrong to you. I'm only saying accept the feeling that comes with it. Because the problem itself is an arrow that hits you, right? The second arrow is your feelings towards that problem. So you are now suffering because of two arrows. Instead, just accept and allow that feeling. Who gets this? So when you do that, the intensity is low and also the duration is low. So you save yourself of the stress and the anxiety. So if you're asking, Uma, how can I be stress free? This is how you can be stress free, by accepting things as they are without wanting them to be any different. This is applicable to any genre of your life. All right. I hope you're really enjoying this and you get what I mean here. If you have questions, please feel free to post it and then I will come and explain to you. See, very important. This is something really important I must share. And before that, I want to check that we are all good with our screen. Looks like everything is fine. Okay, just need to keep checking. Right. All good. Okay, so the next thing is, now think about this. Today, when I was running this mindfulness class for a group of students, they mentioned that they constantly have negative thoughts. Now, think about this fear. What you focus on, you attract it into your life. If you keep focusing on fear, if you keep focusing on sadness, if you keep focusing on things that's not going on well for you, you attract more of that. Okay. Now, let me tell you how your brain works, how your mind understands. You know, having a neuro-linguistic programming background, I can tell you that your language, your thinking, and your language determines your choices and the outcome of your life. Anything that you have in your life right now, the good and the bad, you have attracted through your way of thinking and the way you language stuff. Now, I used to tell parents, when I used to coach parents, I tell them that if you tell your kid, do not do that, it means do that. You know why? Because your brain cannot process your subconscious mind. Let me put it that way. Your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind cannot process negative words. If you say, do not get into an accident, your subconscious brain removes the do not and it says, get into an accident. Do you get it? So you might be wondering, parents, they constantly ask me, why is this, Uma? I constantly tell my kids not to do this, and they exactly go and do the same thing. Why do they do that? Because you're asking them to do that. You're saying, hey, kid, don't go and play. And what does the kid process? Go and play, right? So if parents are watching, be mindful of the language that you use. Students, if you're thinking about, I am going to, I don't want to fail, it means fail. The don't want is taken out and it says fail. So that's how your subconscious brain processes information. Do you get it? So be very, very, very mindful of the language that you're using, right? So if you want anything positive in your life, say that I want to pass this exam. Students keep telling me, Uma, I don't want to fail. So I say one thing, we don't fail you. Lecturers don't fail you. You fail yourself because you've not done the job. Second thing is, don't say I don't want to fail. Say I want to pass. I want to get a high distinction. So whatever you want in your life, say in a positive way. Do not say I don't want to feel stressed. Say I want to be stress-free. I hope you understand. The more I can share with you, I will reply to your chats. If you have any more questions, I'll share with you. But this is what I want you to understand. And if you're thinking, but I've got used to this for so long, just checking the time. I've got used to this for so long. How am I going to change? Now remember, your mind, your brain is just a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets, and the more it can expand, because there's something called neuroplasticity. Okay, it's scientifically proven that the more you engage your mind and brain in practices like mindfulness, the more your neuroplasticity happens, and you're creating new neural pathways in your brain. So people with addiction can come out of addiction through mindfulness. People having automatic behaviors can come out of those automatic negative behaviors, negative thinking. All you've got to do is have a systematic approach to mindfulness. Okay, and the few things I told you here was focus on your breath. one important thing is called body scan meditation. Now, on my YouTube channel, I will put all this up free. Already, there are a lot of free information on mindfulness, and there are also body scan. So I will release all these meditations for you. And remember, meditation, this is not anything to do with religion. This is not to do with any particular, principle in as such, any religion or anything. It is just a very open practice, especially mindfulness. Body scan practice is where you start scanning parts of your body and it creates that sense of focus and attention. All you need is just about 7 to 10 minutes a day. And I am going to put that link for this mindfulness meditation. And please remember, science shows that 8 weeks, continuous of 8 weeks of mindfulness meditation practice changes the brain area, regions of your brain. That's the white matter. You see those changes. So I encourage you from today to start practicing mindfulness. More resources will be available on this YouTube channel. I keep putting a lot of information how you can learn mindfulness and how you can practice mindfulness. But one thing that you want to start doing is your body scan meditation. It is just a simple exercise, right? Where you're going to scan part of your body and that starts to build focus, attention, and memory. Okay, because now when you're focusing on things that matters, you're releasing those space in your brain to focus on things what really matters, because you're removing all those toxic negative energy and then you become more conducive to good things in your life. All right. Okay, so quickly, other mindfulness organizations: Bill Gates practice, Oprah Winfrey, you've got Apple, Facebook, Google, LinkedIn, Nike, Toyota. If you're thinking, Uma, I still don't believe, is this true? Is this going to work? Trust me, I've done it. I've won 4 awards. It's not about awards. It's not about, just about awards, but it's about the quality of your life. Because the quality of your thinking determines the quality of your life, right? Look at these people. Look at these organizations practicing mindfulness. Toyota, Panasonic, Athena, Bosch, General Mills, Intel, Royal Dutch, Shell, SAP, Target, the UK Parliament, the US House of Representatives, all of them practice mindfulness. And now mindfulness is becoming mainstream in the education sector as well. Yes? All right. Any questions? Keep putting it on the chat box. And what we've really done so far is I want to give you a recap just to make sure everything is going well. Okay. So a quick recap is that we have discussed the problems faced by students. Yeah, your regular problems, educational stress, burnout syndrome, and what that causes for you. Second is we spoke about the solution, which is mindfulness. And within mindfulness, I've explained to you what mindfulness means is and the principles of mindfulness. And most importantly, out of the 7 key principles, I have given you 3 key principles that you want to focus on. Trying to be in your present moment, and having your full attention, doing effective attention switching, and also to be able to completely accept your feelings as they are. So by doing that, you are reducing stress. And if you reduce stress, automatically you will start performing because your stress is not coming in the way of your thinking. And trying to take away all those distractions, you have focus, attention, you've got concentration, expanded memory power, cognitive skills are developed, and that helps you to perform better in your academics and also your overall well-being, right? Okay, one more thing. The affairs of the world will go on forever, but do not delay the practice of mindfulness. This is a beautiful quote by Miralipa. Again, the affairs of the world will be constantly going on, right? But do not delay the practice of mindfulness. So I really, really want to thank you so much for your time and attention. And I request you to spread mindfulness, learn mindfulness, and live mindfully. Thank you so much again. And I'm going to quickly move my screen to Savithri ma'am. So that Savithri ma'am can take this to the next level. Give me a moment while I share my screen. There we go. Okay.
Thank you, Uma, for your motivational speech. as it is a student wellness program, we have got two panelists, our student union president, Vaishali, and our student union secretary, Archana, who will be moderating the question answer session. Over to Vaishali.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening to all of you. We are proud to have our alumni of institutions to teach us about the most important problem of this generation, ma'am. Thank you so much. Many students and even some professors have said that in the chat box that they enjoyed the session and have found it very useful. You said about three important principles, ma'am, to practice mindfulness, like present and now, automaticity, and acceptance. I just want to ask you, what do you think will be the ideal time period for us to actually practice mindfulness?
Okay, so with mindfulness, there is no time limit. Like you can practice, it doesn't mean that you have to do it in the morning or afternoon or night. Mindfulness is a lifestyle. It's a 24 by 7. It's like eating, it's like sleeping. It's part of your lifestyle. You can't say that I'm going to be doing mindfulness in the morning and then I be mindless for the rest of the day, right? So you want to be mindful throughout the day. And to be mindful throughout the day is constantly coming back to your breath. Probably you put a timer. When you feel your mind is distracted, you put a timer, and that timer is going to let you know, hey, Archana, hey, Vaishali, get into mindfulness. You are not probably focusing on your breath. So it's not related to any time. It's a 24 by 7, but the systematic practice of mindfulness, which is the body scan meditation, can be done morning, afternoon, or in the evening. It's your choice. It's just a matter of 10 to 15 minutes. If you can allocate 20, that's great.
Thank you, ma'am. And also, you know the famous saying, right? Mind is like a monkey. So, what will be the challenges and bumps in the road to follow mindfulness? Of course, we do. We have many problems in following a lecture itself. To follow a practice like mindfulness, what will be the challenges we'll be facing? It's not
You're
easy
going
to.
to face a lot of challenges. You will face a lot of challenges, right? But it is practice makes a person, completely perfect. I've seen myself when I used to meditate, my mind will keep wandering, wandering. But all you've got to do is bring it back like a small baby, like a puppy. It'll keep diverting, but you bring it back. If your mind diverts, be compassionate, be soft, be kind to yourself. Okay, my mind has wandered. I'm going to come back to the present moment. So that's how you come back to the present moment every time your mind wanders. But eventually, practicing makes you perfect.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Now, over to Archana, our student union secretary. She also has some questions lined up for you.
Yes. Archana, I just want to take some questions from the principal as well. Would you just give me a moment so
Sure,
that
ma'am.
we
Sure.
take our principal as well? And
Yeah.
then we will be coming to the, yes, Geeta ma'am. Hi, Geeta ma'am.
Hello, Ma. Thank you for your wonderful speech. And it is always nice to have our alumni talk to our students because you are all the torchbearers of the institution, and we are proud of you. See, the one thing I just wanted to ask you is you were talking about academic excellence, right, and mindfulness. You know about the educational system which is happening in India, right? In Tamil Nadu, in particular in Chennai also. And you are in Australia and you are talking about mindfulness, how to reduce the stress in this situation amongst students over there. Now, so from country to country, there is a change in the educational pattern, scenario, etc. And we do take all initiatives to our children to see to it they are stress free, and particularly in this situation also we do have a COVID-19 task force and all HODs are taking care of the students. But in spite of that, can you just tell us exactly how your mindfulness program would be apt for the Chennai, in particular for the students in and around Chennai, compared to what you see in your place?
Okay, thank you so much. That's a wonderful question. So, what I see here in Western world is that one important thing, mindfulness is actually an Eastern thing. The birth was from Eastern. The Buddhism is where it really came because it's a meditative practice, right? But in time, John Kabat-Zinn is the person who brought it to mainstream and also integrated it with medicine as well. Because there's mindful-based stress reduction, cognitive behavioral therapy, there's weight reduction, so many things with mindfulness. So at that point, they took the religious aspect out, and it is more focused on mainstream, helping people to reduce stress and improve performance in other areas as well. So what happens here in Australia is these are integrated as part of the curriculums in some colleges, and it has become so much. It has become so much mainstream. Mindfulness is also, as I mentioned, a part of a curriculum. It's like sustainability. Earlier on, sustainability has never been as part of curriculums, but sustainability is now integrated in every part of the studies, be it business, because I teach hospitality, tourism, and business, and we've got sustainability in every single topic. Apart from that, now mindfulness. Now, in the college that I teach, the Southern Cross University, I do mindfulness for the students. So we have every Wednesdays I do mindfulness for the lecturers, because when they feel less stress, it's only 10 minutes. Trust me, I do a session only for 10 minutes. And by the end of the 10 minutes, the lecturers, the students say that we feel so de-stressed. We feel very calm. We feel composed before exams. I've done mindfulness classes for students before exams. They come and tell me because before they go to the exam, their mind is calm. And what happens with mindfulness meditation is your brain goes to an alpha state, because normally we are in a theta state when we're talking, we're talking and doing things active, right? But when you go to an alpha state, the mind is very calm. So what we need to do is, what I recommend is definitely bringing in mindfulness into the colleges, into school, having it is as a systematic practice. Just after the lunch break, 15 minutes mindfulness session. So students come and participate in the mindfulness classes, and they try to de-stress for some time, because when that becomes a systematic practice, that's all they need. That's how it becomes mainstream into education as well.
Thank you so much. So what I would like you to do is, you just give us a short video as to what students should do, right? So I think that would be appreciated if you just give those, and I can ask some of my students to practice it so that they can deliver it to their class students also. So I think that we can make this as a habit in addition to all the yoga and counseling sessions we do give in our college. So that should be a good takeaway from your lecture also. Thank you, Uma.
Thank you so much. I'm more than happy to share the mindfulness meditation. It's a body scan meditation that I've recorded, and I have it available for anybody and everybody who wants to get that 10 minutes body scan meditation. Just play it in the morning, play it in the evening, and I'll record different kind of meditation series as well for mindfulness. It's not the other meditations. This is specifically targeted for educational stress, reducing educational stress, exam fear. Happy to share it with you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pleasure, ma'am. Archana.
Okay. Good evening, ma'am. First of all, I have to say it was an extremely helpful and informative session, as it was also mentioned in comment section. So here are some questions. Yamuna asks, could you say how to master a mind?
Okay. Mastering a mind is through mindfulness. So as I mentioned, because you have to be the master of your mind and not the slave of your mind. Okay, let's just do this. Okay, let's just do a small exercise. I do this in most of my events. Okay, now we all know that this is our cheek and this is our chin. What I want you to do is, all of you take your finger like this. Okay, and keep it on your cheek. I gave you a bit of understanding earlier. What happens? So you're thinking, why? Because we are in that automatic pattern. We tend to constantly be the slave of our minds, right? So what you do, how do you become the master of your mind? By practicing, by constantly trying to be in the present moment. So when you have distractions, when you have negative feelings, you let them go and come back to your present moment, because your mind is like a Teflon, right? For positive thoughts and Velcro for negative thoughts. All you've got to do is just come back to the present moment and be focused in the present moment. While you keep doing that, you have more control over your brain, on your mind. Yeah?
Okay, ma'am. So one more question. Pavitra asks, anxiety is a big challenge. How could we come over it?
So anxiety starts from where? It starts from overwhelm. And where does overwhelm come from? Because there's so much thing going on in your mind. I told you, 50,000 thoughts a day. and 50% negative thoughts. So where is that anxiety coming from? Overwhelm. Overwhelm causes stress, and continued stress leads to anxiety because you're not dealing with your emotions. Now you have this emotion, you want to push it away. You have so many thoughts, so many things, exams, future, career, marriage, so many things going on are leading to stress. But when you meditate, you calm down. So every moment you sit for your body scan meditation, you calm down. When you calm down, there's more clarity. When there's more clarity, you have more creative solutions. Now you can't find any solutions for your problem because your mind is cluttered, right? So that is how you overcome. One-stop solution, guys. Seriously, mindfulness is a one-stop solution for all genres in your, for any dimension of your life and for any age group.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much. There are so many questions, ma'am. I've selected only few of them, and it was really great, ma'am. The presentation was very interesting. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you so much, Arshana. Thank you so much, Vaishali,
Thank you so
Principal
much,
Ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you so much. My pleasure, my pleasure. And to all of you who have hopped in here, I really want to appreciate you because you could be anywhere today, right? But you made that conscious choice to make some difference in your life, and conscious choice to make this opportunity organized by SDNB Vaishnav College to come here, learn a new skill. The moment you learn something new, there's more progress you're making in your life to become the best and grandest version of yourself. So this is what I'm very passionate about, inspiring and empowering people to become the best version they can be. If you're really interested more to know about this, feel free to send me an email and I'll let you know what are the other options. You can learn mindfulness as a systematic 8-week program. And also, we could probably come back and do the other principles of mindfulness if time permits at a different stage. But for now, thank you so much. This was an amazing opportunity. My gratitude to all of you here at SDNB Vaishnav College, the management principal, and the commerce research team. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you. So I'm going to get Savithri ma'am here. Savithri ma'am, off to you.
Thank you, Archana and Vaishali, for moderating the question answer session, and I thank Principal Ma'am for also joining us. Now I request Dr. R. Kalarmati, Associate Professor, Department of Commerce, to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening to all. It's my privilege to have been asked to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. On behalf of Department of Commerce, SDNB College for Women, Chromepet, Chennai 44, I express my sincere thanks to the management and Principal Dr. R. Geeta Ma'am for having permitted to conduct this webinar. I also thank the resource person, Ms. Uma Panch, for having delivered the webinar wonderfully. Also, I take this opportunity to thank the head of the Department of Commerce, Dr.R.Savithri ma'am, and my colleagues of Commerce Department. And a special thanks to all the participants for having attended your support for this great occasion. Last but not the least, I thank the God Almighty for making this webinar a grand success. Once again, thank you one and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We've been seeing a lot of questions here about where the feedback link is. We are going to put it here in the description forum. Just give us 5 minutes and you'll see the link there soon after this session. And you can use that link to submit your feedback and for your certificate. So I'm bringing this back to Savithri ma'am to conclude the session. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Uma, for delivering a wonderful webinar. I thank all the participants who I think they would have benefited from this program. The feedback link is posted in the chat box. You can fill that link and you'll be getting your e-certificate within a week. Thank you one and all. Thank you.